No, I'm not bitten.
Bad things happen to everyone. It's hard to keep being yourself after they do. Part of growing up is doing what's best for the people you care about.
I'm coming.
I got the good ending. I'm so happy. Thank you. So happy. I'm so happy. You don't know how happy I am. I got the good ending. Clementine survives, baby. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a while, guys. I have been keeping you guys up to date on The Walking Dead for years since its inclusion 5 years ago, back in 2019. The final season was meant to be the ending of Clementine's journey, but it always had been stated as not the Walking Dead game as a whole. And we knew with Telltale Games' closure and revival, there was always a potentiality that maybe one day, maybe they would return back to the Walking Dead series. And recently, last year, I had made a video discussing about a new deal Telltale had made with Skybound and Hiro Capital, which was basically in terms of $8 million worth of funding for a unannounced title, funding for that title, as well as with The Wolf Among Us 2 and The Expanse. So since then, The Expanse has come and gone. The Wolf Among Us 2 is still being worked on, and we still have no idea what that unannounced title is. Recently, we got a bombshell with The Walking Dead and a sequel. I'm gonna go through all this in the video, and I just want to say, guys, I want to make this clear. This is not clickbait. This is legitimate. This is from IGN. So I just want to make that clear, because I know there's going to be people that are going to look at this title and be like, oh, man, you're such a I only talk about this stuff, like a potential season 5 or even future games, when I have legitimate evidence. And this is legitimate. So just want to make that clear. If you guys enjoy this video, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe if you're new. We're about to hit 400,000 subscribers on this channel. So if you want to definitely do me a favor, hit that red subscribe button, hit the notification bell, have it set to all so you don't miss any videos covering the Walking Dead game, Telltale Games, Skybound Games, or any of that. Make sure you hit that notification bell, have it set to all. Join about that near almost 100,000 people that all notifications on for the channel. And be sure to go follow me on social media down below. And join about that near 40% of people that watch my videos that are subscribed. Alright guys, it's time. This is one of my most anticipated videos because just of the potentialities we have with this discussion. Let's get straight into it. Skybound Games, on the other hand, has had a fall from grace, I'd like to say, and I've talked about it in numerous videos. We knew the Definitive Edition, buggy, broken release, but ended up still being a pretty good remaster for the 4 Walking Dead games and Michonne. But in my opinion, an unforgivable mistake they have made is releasing the books and comics in regards to Clementine, which were stated as the continuation of The Walking Dead, the final season, where basically Clementine abandons AJ, abandons the school, does a million things that she would never do in a million years, complete betrayal of her character, and I'm sure you can go check out the playlist link down below and read my reviews and all that in the books. The books are non-canon. Not any Walking Dead game fan that played the Telltale Games would look at those books and say, this is the continuation, this is canon. No, it is not. It is a dumpster fire trash can that, if we ever do end up seeing a Walking Dead game that continues off the end of the final season, I hope never incorporates anything with those books and comics, because the fan base just does not like them to any regard. Now, recently I had been mentioning in some of my most recent videos, even talking about Telltale, Skybound Games owns the IP. Skybound owns The Walking Dead, not Telltale. So if a new game were to come, it would be through them partnering with another studio, because Skybound is not just a games developer. They would have to more likely pair up with another company. And I've always thought there's only one company that could take up The Walking Dead again and do it justice: Telltale Games. The true pioneers of it, the creators. And this is where I talk about in this video where something could have potentially happened where that wouldn't have been the case. And in my opinion, I think we dodged a bullet. And this is why I'm going to talk about all this in the video. Now, recently, Skybound Games has been posting a lot more about The Walking Dead on social media. As we know, Telltale Games has made it clear they're done with The Walking Dead, and the only way they would return is either with a re-partnership with Skybound. They've always said you have to contact Skybound about that. Skybound has posted a lot about it, which I don't think is a coincidence, and especially now after what we're going to go through in this video, it's definitely not, as I've been telling people. But they've also stated, and I quote, "While we appreciate your enthusiasm for Telltale's The Walking Dead franchise, there are currently no plans for a Season 5. This was literally posted March 29th, so not even that long ago. But again, we have to look at what we're going to be discussing in this video now and compare it to that. So let's throw up the article. IGN had recently made an article on Deck9 Games, who are the creators of Life is Strange. They do pretty similar titles as Telltale. In my opinion, they're pretty good, but they're basically a weaker version of Telltale, I'd have to say, but they do make great titles. But recently they got ripped to shreds in this article about their toxicity, hate speech, crunch culture, a lot of other things. And again, I went through a majority of that, not all of it, in my last video discussing the potential sequel to Life is Strange, which basically is confirmed in this article that they're working on a new Life is Strange game and it's going to be announced pretty soon. So what does Deck9 Games have to do with The Walking Dead? The Walking Dead Telltale series has only been done by Telltale, and Skybound owns it now. So remember I told you guys, Skybound, if they wanted to make a new Walking Dead game, would have to partner with a company, and I think you're starting to see what I'm trying to put down here. So at the end of the article, a bombshell that I kind of referenced a little bit at the end of the last video with the Life is Strange stuff. So while all this was taking place, all the stuff with Deck9 Games, Deck9 was rocked in other ways. In spring of 2023, the studio underwent 2 rounds of job cuts. The first was smaller, impacting a single-digit number of individuals. And in May, Skybound Entertainment canceled a deal with the studio to work on a sequel to Telltale's The Walking Dead. I cannot believe this, guys. So, you know how a lot of people have been telling me that I'm a clickbaiter, I'm a liar, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Well, guess what? Remember I told you guys it was all likelihood we were eventually going to get a Walking Dead game? Well, until recently, last year, that was going to be true. I was right. I told you people that this was likely going to be set in stone. But thankfully, and I have to note the word thankfully, this was canceled. And you know why? Because I don't want Deck9 Games making the Walking Dead Season 5 or the next title in the Walking Dead Telltale universe. So this is what they were going to do. They had it all set up, and I knew Deck9 was working on more than one title. Deck9 was set to make the next title, and we don't know how far along this project was in development. I'm going to assume it was in its infantile stages, but it probably had some work done on it. So I can assume, with maybe the issues at Deck9 with the layoffs and all that and the cuts, I can see now why Skybound maybe canceled the deal. Maybe could this also be as a result of those books and them not doing as well? Maybe. But again, we don't even know where this would have gone or what could have been placed. Would this have been with Clementine? Would this have been continuing off those shitty books? Would this have been with AJ, Javier, a new character? I mean, there's a lot of possibilities. And Skybound actually declined to comment on the piece. Roughly 30 people across all of Deck9 projects lost their jobs, reducing the studio to around 100 people. Team leads were told who to cut, a move that resulted in Littleton and a fellow narrative lead volunteering to lay themselves off to save 2 of their co-workers. A third member of the narrative was also laid off involuntarily. Now, Skybound had made that deal with Telltale last year about the unannounced game in February, so it appears that, in all likelihood, this now pretty much confirms that Telltale's game that is unannounced is probably not The Walking Dead. Unless things have changed, because we all know Telltale has gone through a lot recently, and you guys know, if you've been watching my Wolf Among Us 2 videos, we're still waiting for Telltale Games to acknowledge anything with it, and, well, they have now. and we'll be talking about that in my next video for sure. But we don't know what that unannounced game is yet, and it appears like there was already a Walking Dead sequel in place before that deal had even been made. So, you know, I don't know what's gonna happen. And then shortly after that, we're gonna talk about this in full in my next video. Telltale Games. Deck 9 had recently just helped Telltale with the Expanse and co-produced it with them. So Deck 9 had been working on a pre-production script for The Wolf Among Us 2, and again, we'll talk about this in my next video. But Telltale was having its own money issues and eventually pulled the funding from Deck 9. Since Telltale was now having financial issues themselves, they had to basically pull that money to put towards themselves. And then Telltale itself underwent its layoffs, and Deck 9 found itself down 2 major projects. So another shocking development. Deck 9 had been helping Telltale Games with The Wolf Among Us 2 and its script. Like, oh my goodness. What the heck is going on here? And here's what they said in regards to their collaboration with partners. Storytelling is a collaborative process, and we work closely with all our partners throughout development to deliver a narrative experience through the pillars of the product that we're all proud of. As it often is the case in the creative process, some ideas make the final cut and some do not. We remain committed to championing diversity and telling stories from historically underrepresented groups in games. The cancellation of 2 major projects and multiple rounds of layoffs have not inspired confidence internally. Among those I speak to, there was a strong perception that Deck 9 leaders were bad deal makers who were unwilling or unable to advocate for their studio to get resources even when their deals were successful. Just this past February, Deck 9 experienced yet another round of layoffs, with management citing an inability to sign a new project after the loss of both The Wolf Among Us 2 and The Walking Dead. A total of 23 individuals were impacted, leaving Deck 9 at just over half the size it was a few years ago during the height of True Colors. Leadership took pay cuts, but impacted staff only received 2 weeks of severance pay regardless of time served at the studio. So in my opinion, guys, a lot of people are going to look at this like, damn, we didn't get a freaking 5th season. But in my opinion, this is only a bump in the road. I do believe Skybound is eventually going to approach this again with another company, whether it is Telltale Games or somebody else. It's obvious Skybound wants to, I wouldn't say milk the IP. I mean, we could already say they're technically doing that with those comics and books. I think they're eventually going to do a 5th season. And I think this, if anything, just knowing that there was already a deal in place for it to be done is more than enough evidence to me that, hey guys, this is gonna happen one day. Not a matter of if, but when. And whether that is a couple more years down the line, or who knows, maybe there's already another deal in place with Telltale or someone else. We don't know right now, but in my opinion, guys, it is a blessing in disguise that we dodged this. Deck 9, with all their issues they've had and everything, I think if they had released this game, it would have not done that well. Let's be honest. And we deserve, if anything, if we are deserving another Walking Dead game, it has to be something like the Telltale Games. Something that raises the bar, something that is a good story, good gameplay, all that. It's got to hit every checklist, in my opinion. So, yes, we were supposed to get a Season 5 or a sequel. I don't know what exactly what would have been, but let me know what you guys would like to see in a potential 5th season or sequel, because it does appear that we will inevitably be getting it. I personally want something either with AJ, maybe leave Clementine alone, or we get some with Javier or a new character. So let me know what you guys think about that down below in the comments. But Skybound didn't comment on this, and they've reiterated recently they have no plans for the season, which I think is BS. So we shall see, but let me know what you guys think of this down below in the comments. Just a little update, keeping you guys up to date on potentially what The Walking Dead's future holds. I hope they cancel those books or never consider them to be, and we get this game one day down the line from Telltale Games, who I believe is the only one that should ever touch this IP in terms of a game aspect. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let's go for 5,000 likes on this video. I greatly appreciate it. And I want to thank you all so much for watching. Until then, guys, I'll see you guys for the next video discussing The Wolf Among Us 2 and this stuff with it. So, peace and love, and have a great day. Bye-bye.
For me, I'd be lost without you. I try to run away, but you're running up on me faster, and I can barely breathe. Undeep.